Good morning, it's October 30th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. And if you enjoy the podcast, hit the subscribe button or follow me on TikTok. Are the polls getting it right this time, or are they missing some important factors? That seems to be the question that we ask every election these days. 2 years ago, the pundits and pollsters were predicting a red wave after record inflation and other problems created by the Biden administration. Well, it didn't happen. It was more a red trickle that allowed the Republicans to gain a slim majority in the House and the Democrats to keep a one-vote majority in the Senate. And I don't know what will happen next Tuesday, but there are some signs out there that we can point to, and I have to hope they're pointing in the right direction. This is Donald Trump's third run for the presidency. In 2016, nobody gave him a chance, and the polling had Hillary Clinton up at such a number that most assumed she would win with ease. She was, as the saying goes, measuring the Oval Office for drapes. She did not bother to campaign in Wisconsin and gave little attention to Michigan. Trump won both of those states and ultimately the presidency. I think the two most surprised people in that election night were Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Well, fast forward to 2020, and Trump was one of those who just assumed he would win re-election. But when the votes were counted, the race was very close, but Joe Biden emerged the winner. And I don't want to hear about voter fraud and that. Biden won. I've long believed that in 2016, people voted more against Clinton than for Trump. In 2020, it was the reverse. They were voting against Trump more than they were voting for Biden. So that begs the question of where we are in 2024, of how the voters feel about both Trump and Harris. In his third race for the presidency, Republican nominee Donald Trump has never been as good at pole position as he is now, and you'll have to wait at least a week to find out whether it means anything. As of Monday, Trump leads presidential Democratic candidate Kamala Harris by a close margin as possible. 0.1%, and that's in the Real Clear Politics average of recent polls. He trailed in that same survey by 7.5% 4 years against Biden and 4.6% in 2016, the year he defeated Hillary Clinton. The way Trump and his allies see it, the closer the polls up in the popular vote, the better his chances to win enough states to capture the Electoral College and the presidency. And he outperformed the polls in both of his previous races. The number that's most encouraging to the Trump campaign is that national polls show him running neck and neck with Harris. Normally, the Republican candidate has to bank on winning enough electoral votes while losing the popular vote. Some pundits are predicting that Trump could actually win the popular vote. I personally doubt that will happen, although it will be close. California, Illinois, and New York will deliver enough popular votes for Harris to have her win on that measure. But that's not where the election is going to be decided. This election will be decided in the swing states, and once again, states like Pennsylvania will be key in deciding the winner. In Pennsylvania, right now, the Real Clear Politics average gives Trump a lead of a 0.5 percentage point. At this time 8 years ago, he trailed Clinton in the Keystone State by 5 points and nonetheless carried it, barely on Election Day. In Michigan, Trump has a 1/10 of a point lead in the RCP average. 4 years ago, Biden led in that survey by 8.6 percentage points. And 8 years ago, Clinton had a 7-point lead. Trump nearly lost Michigan in 2020, but nearly won it in 2016. What about Wisconsin? Trump has a lead of 3 percentage points in the RCP average. Biden led the state by 6.4% in the poll averaging 4 years ago, and he barely won the state. Clinton won by 6 points, was leading by 6 points in 16, and Trump ended up winning the state. North Carolina was a state the Democrats thought they had a good chance to flip. To become blue, but they seem to have abandoned that strategy because this week the Harris campaign pulled their advertising budget from the Tar Heel state. Now, all these polling numbers show a close race, and that is why I believe it favors Donald Trump at this point. Historically, he has consistently outperformed the polls. If that model holds true, then not only will Trump win the Electoral College, but he could do it with 300 plus electoral votes. And just as Clinton called Trump supporters deplorables, Biden did not do Harris any favors by calling Trump supporters garbage. Those two comments just show how Democrats view the people who would not support them. They view the average working American as something less than themselves, and since that is the majority of voters, if they listen to what the elite Democrats think of them, they should head to the voting booth and send them a clear signal that they are the majority, and ignoring them is at their own electoral peril. I want to close with one other comment. Democrats have raved about the Electoral College because it doesn't deliver them wins. They've produced the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. It's an agreement among a group of U.S. states and the District of Columbia to award all of their electoral votes to whatever presidential candidate wins the overall popular vote in the nation. And as of April this year, 17 states of the District of Columbia have signed up to this compact. Now, just passing this within your state does not make it legal, though. There are major constitutional challenges. But what would be interesting is if Donald Trump were to win the popular vote. All of these states are reliably blue Democratic states. What would happen if Donald Trump won the popular vote and Kamala Harris won the electoral vote? Would those states suddenly reverse course and void that agreement? I think that's something you can count on immediately, and it shows the hypocrisy of what they're doing. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.